and welcome to Talk Time. The world of cricket is all set to witness its biggest spectacle, the Cricket World Cup, which begins the 30th of May. The United Kingdom is hosting this sporting extravaganza, the Cricket World Cup, after a span of 2 decades. My guest today is cricket buff Bruce Bucknell, the Kolkata-based British Deputy High Commissioner to Eastern India. Bruce Bucknell, welcome to my show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I know, Bruce, that you are a good diplomat, but given a choice, would you like to be a cricket selector?
Cricket selector?
Yeah. There's a reason for asking that. I'll come to that later, but first answer my question.
Well, funnily enough, I think you might know, I did choose my top 15 or something.
I know that.
15.
I know that.
For a newspaper, and I thought it would be easy, and actually it proved to be really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I tried to choose one player from each of the 8 IPL franchises, and I also tried to choose a player from each country represented in the IPL, and it proved to be really difficult. It was really difficult.
So what is the long and short? You were saying that you don't like to be a selector. You were saying it's a tough job.
I think I have much more humility now for being an armchair cricket fan. Having been set that task, you realise you've got to make some difficult choices.
But you are being humble enough to say that you are an armchair cricket buff, but you are a cricket buff, and let me tell my viewers that you were also played cricket while at school. You were part of the school team.
I was. A long, long time ago, I played in the school team. I wasn't very good. I was a stylish left-hand batsman. Unfortunately, my scoring rate was even slower than Cheteshwar Pujara's. So it was
Pujara, yeah.
I wasn't the quickest, but I didn't give away my wicket very cheaply. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be in any T20 team.
You were some kind of a conservative cricketer, slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady.
Sunil Gavaskar would have been very happy to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't see him play, but that was the period when I played.
When there was a time when Sunny and Gundappa Viswanath used to come out to play, and it'll be 1 day, 2 days, they will still be batting.
And they were also very short players, given that they faced some of the most hostile fast bowling from the West Indies.
Absolutely.
Fantastic technically, patient, calm under pressure. It's a little bit different cricket, World Cup cricket now.
Now, you are a British diplomat, Bruce. You are based in India. Cricket may have originated in England, 2 centuries ago, 200 years ago, 18th century to be precise, perhaps. But you were one of the greatest cricket-playing nations, but India is the place that has provided that adrenaline, that jing, that Mexican waves. You were based in Kolkata, the Eden Gardens scenario.
Absolutely.
Absolute cacophony, Mexican waves all around. Tell me what it is going to be like this time. UK is hosting this cricket extravaganza World Cup after 20 years.
Indeed. So I think the most important point is that there will be lots of fans from all over the world there. And in fact, we're expecting something like anything between 50 and 80,000 Indians to travel.
50 and 80,000?
Something like that. 25,000 went to the Australian World Cup, the last World Cup in 2015, and we're expecting more. And then you have to remember, of course, we've got something like 1.5 million people, 15 lakh, of Indian origin in Britain. Some of them will be supporting India. Some of them, like Wasbir Hussain, of course, are ex-England captains.
Yeah.
So there will undoubtedly be a little bit of the IPL feel at the grounds, but our grounds are a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
There's nothing like 66,000 at Eden Gardens. You have to watch football to see the equivalent crowd sizes.
So as far as you are concerned, it's a heady cocktail. You are a cricket buff, you had been a cricket player, now you are a diplomat. And your interest, now, 80,000 Indians landing up in the UK to watch this biggest spectacle, one of the biggest sporting events in the world. Don't you think, this is a great opportunity to build bridges, living bridge as you have said somewhere, between UK, between England and India, where ideas, people, I mean,
Absolutely.
lot of flow.
It's those 80,000 coming from India, and it's the 1.5 million already in Britain, people of Indian origin. It's a fantastic moment to bring relatives together. I've heard many people say we're going to stay with friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, and that will be a great reaffirmation of the links between Britain and India. And it's not just the fact that they're going to travel. A lot of the advantage of having the two communities come together is that actually there's the transfer of ideas, of technologies, of research. We have something like 1,000 Indian origin academics working in our universities.
British universities.
And so there's a chance for them to meet up old friends and, if you like, reinforce that living bridge between Britain and India.
So, are you telling me that your visa officers all across India had sleepless nights in the last couple of months and couple of weeks?
They've been very busy. They've had a surge of applications, and there's no doubt about it. But we did a lot of publicity. They went round India in end of February, early March. We even had the dates when you could first apply for whichever cricket match it was, because you can apply 3 months in advance of travel, of travel for your visa. And we've had a really good response. I don't know when we'll know the final numbers, but as I said, we're expecting a lot to travel because it will be one of the great sporting events of the world. It'll probably be the best Cricket World Cup, whether it's the format or the teams taking part. It's going to be tough, actually, to win.
But you see, I mean, you've seen the IPL, you were based in Kolkata, you've seen how it's like in Eden Gardens. Now my question is, UK, generally, it's slightly muted. But are you expecting, with the whole lot of people from the Indian subcontinent landing up, they're going to generate their own chaos? That Mexican wave, do you think they will be able
to? They will generate noise, but you don't forget, England are also playing Australia after the IPL, after the World Cup. And already we've had, 2 Australian players have been given a warm welcome at the warm-up game that England had with Australia. And you have to remember also that at some of the grounds, Birmingham in particular, where England play India, it gets quite raucous there. Strong England support, loud. And the English crowds are a little bit oiled with a bit of beer in the likes of Birmingham at Edgbaston. So they get quite rowdy and cheerful. And there is an occasion. It used to be West Indians in the 1970s and 1980s. And I hope, too, we can have a little bit of calypso cricket.
Calypso cricket, Calypso cricket, and today cricket is not just sports, around the world. It is great entertainment. It is actually entertainment.
It is. I think IPL is very short, very sweet. It is like a football match. It happens very quickly. It's a little bit hit and miss. The great advantage, I think, for ODI, 50-over cricket, is that the really good batsmen who play what people like me of my age think of as traditional cricket, they can build an innings. You don't just hit from ball one. You build an innings. You get momentum through the innings. Just as today, I think KL Rahul and Dhoni have scored centuries, and I know they will take their time, get their eye in, and then accelerate through the innings. So that's, I think, part of the pleasure is you actually see proper cricket strokes. The ball hit along the ground.
I will pick your mind on your predictions and all of that after this very short break. But how is England, how is the UK preparing? How have it prepared to host this great event?
So there's been a lot of fanfare, of course. There's an opening event, I think it's the night before the opening game, so tonight, 29th of May, in front of Buckingham Palace. There'll be then an opening ceremony. But this is actually a moment, because in England, you understand, we've got such competition for sports. We've got 4 English teams in the 2 finals of the European football, the Europa League and the Champions League. So that's a different sport. We've had a fantastic record in the Olympics recently. In England in particular, this is a moment to attract new talent, new generation, the next generations of, Nasser Hussains, Moeen Ali's, Joe Roots, to take up cricket because the focus is going to be on cricket. And as we all know, the atmosphere, the English players in particular have had a fantastic, well, some of them had a fantastic IPL season.
Yes.
The likes of Johnny Bairstow, Jofra Archer, and Moeen Ali as well. They had great seasons, and they know the excitement that can come with cricket.
Absolutely.
And we need to transmit that to the next generation of players.
Transmit that to the next generation. On that note, we go for a short break, but don't go away. I'll be right back in conversation with Bruce Bucknell, British Deputy High Commissioner to Eastern India, on the Cricket World Cup. Welcome back. I'm in conversation with Bruce Bucknell, British Deputy High Commissioner to Eastern India, only and only on cricket for today. Bruce, 2015, I think no Britisher would like to remember that year, that miserable, shocking performance by the English team. But today, your batting team is just sensational. Whether you talk about Joe Root, you talk about Jos Buttler, you talk about Johnny Bairstow, Ian Morgan, the captain. So it's a powerful, firebrand cricketer. So what is the prediction like? What is the gut feeling?
Well, the gut feeling is the gut feeling is yes, that we are favourites. We are favourites according to the London bookmakers.
That's what the bookmakers are also saying.
They are, but it's a very competitive competition. All the top teams play each other in the round robin. To become first or even fourth is going to be quite tough. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that England don't qualify. They've got to play well, but then serve the other teams. We'll see. I mean, you mentioned 2015. It was really bad. We had some terrible performances.
Yeah.
But out of that experience, Owen Morgan became captain. And they actually learned from, believe it or not, New Zealand. It's the New Zealand model that, in effect, the English team...
So, in fact, the team, you had this bias towards New Zealand. That 15-member squad that you picked up for your own United Nations team, you had the New Zealander as the captain. You're not going to be excused by the...
No, I have a very good reason. I had a very good reason.
Okay.
I said it was because of that style that Kane Williams... It wasn't Kane Williamson, it was Brendan McCullum.
Okay.
That the England team, after the 2015 World Cup, one of the first teams to tour England was New Zealand. And New Zealand played with great freedom. They were allowed to play their natural game. And actually, it was Owen Morgan, the coaches, and the team. They said, look, this is how New Zealand are doing. They're performing really well. There's only 4.5 million people in New Zealand. So they took on, let's play like New Zealand. And they've played like New Zealand since. With freedom, with enjoyment, they're allowed to express themselves.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I chose Kane Williamson was because when I came to chose that 15 IPL, my IPL 15 for the World Cup, I needed a New Zealander. There were several in the IPL. Unfortunately, most of them didn't perform very well. Poor Tim Southey had a terrible IPL. So I had to choose one to fit in my little schema.
Little squad.
A little squad of one from each country. I didn't take a Bangladeshi because they didn't really play in the... Shakib was injured. So I came up with this idea that actually Virat Kohli has got the hopes of 1.3 billion on his shoulders.
Rohit Sharma as well.
Rohit Sharma, MS Dhoni, to have those... I think it is pressure.
Yeah. Now, we'll talk. I'll pick your thoughts on the Indian side. But before that, the English team this time, as we discussed, the bookmakers' favorite. And they have the advantage of the home grounds, the Oval and the Lords. But the question is, they are now said that the English players now in 2019, starting from 2017 perhaps, have started playing free-spirited cricket. Exciting, free-spirited, unafraid.
Absolutely.
So how do you think that has been consciously come about?
No, it has been taken from the New Zealand example. I think also you're lucky there's been a generation who've come through, the likes not just of, Owen Morgan is a survivor from that period, but you've got Joe Root, who's 28.
Jos Buttler?
Jos Buttler's 28. Johnny Bairstow, I think, is 29. You've got some of the bowlers who've been around for a little while. And then, of course, you've got younger players, Jofra Archer above all, who's come in, who the qualification years have been changed so that England have the same qualification as other countries. And he's brought a little bit of competition into that team.
So your bowling side has also got the benefit of...
Yeah, and Moeen Ali has been around for a little while. He's played really well in the IPL, although he didn't play a full season. So there's a nice balance, but no doubt about it, the bowling is not as strong as the batting.
But I would advise you, Bruce Bucknell, not to take the Indians lightly at all.
No,
I would like to warn you. In fact, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma continues to be the number 1 and number 2 batsmen in the world even today.
Absolutely, and it's not just them. Rahul scored a century against Bangladesh in the warm-up game. It's the bowling as well. A fantastic pair of bowlers. They're so different. Bhuvi and Bumrah. Bhuvi, who I don't think he's had a great season, but the way he bowls, I mean, he's a joy to watch. He's, as I said, he's like a leopard. When he comes in, his head is perfectly still. And then Bumrah is undoubtedly...
Jasprit Bumrah,
Is he number 1? He should...
He is by far
He's a fantastic bowler. He's a great death bowler. He's very economical. He's very dangerous. It's just, I think, it's English conditions, and the ball may not be quite as fast. It may, there may be some swing, some seam. So we'll see how it goes. No, undoubtedly, India is second favourites. India is second favourites. We need to worry about India. Don't worry. But we also need to worry about Australia.
Absolutely.
South Africa is strong, although they've not got a good record. West Indies on their day.
On their day, the West Indies can spring surprises.
Absolutely. So we have to perform against all those countries. And then there's Pakistan, who, as we saw in the Champions Trophy, they started badly, and yet they still won. So it is actually a really tricky, very competitive competition. I have no illusions that it's going to be easy. It's not. Whoever wins will have deserved to win, but you've got to get through the round first and get to be in the top 4 places. Otherwise, you go home.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, on a particular given day, the English players has the potential to spring surprises. It's the Indians, of course. One of the favorites, apart from UK, as we had discussed, the West Indies can spring a surprise.
Can do.
And don't even put the Bangladeshis aside, because you never know.
Never know.
You never know.
I think they might be. I mean, the London bookmakers have got Afghanistan and Bangladesh towards the bottom.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. But
we'll see. Yeah, no, on their day, and exactly losing to 1 or 2 teams and then having to win games towards the end of the round robin could be really tough. So
now you see. I mean, how seriously is the Foreign Office, your country's Foreign Office, looking at this great extravaganza? How are you trying to galvanize attention towards this game, at the same time do good diplomacy?
By talking to you. I mean, it's a slight joke, but this is a great soft power moment. Great soft power moment. Because this is projecting yourself, your country, to a world stage, in particular to cricket-playing nations. But it's not just cricket-playing nations. We will be able to watch the World Cup on our mobile phones if we've subscribed to a service. It will be a moment. It's more about the people-to-people connections, which is why I started with the Indian community.
Absolutely. Great soft power moment. That's how Bruce Bucknell describes this entire event, and the opportunity not just for UK-India relations, but perhaps relations between UK and the rest of the world. On that note, we go for another short break. Stay on, don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm still in conversation with Mr. Bruce Bucknell, British Deputy High Commissioner to Eastern India. Bruce, are you in favor of cricket being included in the Olympics? Or do you see such a possibility?
I do see a possibility. There's a format, T20, 2020 is a format that would work in the Olympics because it's fairly short, 3-hour game. You could have a qualifying competition for the Olympics. I think it will work really well. I think it will come partly because the Olympics has always been very good at extending the sports, to taking more in. We have a sport that we like in Britain called rugby. There's now a rugby sevens competition won by Fiji in the last Olympics in the first time. So there will be, I think it will come. It just depends on when and in fitting it into the rest of the program.
But do you think that requires a push by nations, or do you think it's for the sporting community alone to decide whether or not to have cricket? Or do you think there's a nudge necessary?
There would be a nudge through the International Olympic Committee, I'm sure. But each nation has its favoured sport. The whole Olympic movement is all about inclusion, bringing in sports and bringing in nations. So I think it will come. I'm not quite sure when. I'm sure that
But you'll not be surprised if nations starts giving a slight nudge there.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. It's just a case of getting the mechanics of or getting the proposal into the Olympic movement. And I'm sure England, Australia, India would be would be only too happy to push it. Of course, this is where we have the anomaly of Britain. We are strange hybrid nation in terms of we have different, in cricket...
Different national pastimes.
We have different national pastimes, that's in sports for one thing, but then the other side of the coin is we have, for sports, in football we play England, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales. For cricket it's England and Wales. Scotland now has got its own national cricket team. So there are a few things that would have to be ironed out. So I can see there may be difficulty, but there's probably more for us than it would be for India and Australia.
Now, how do you look at a country like China? If you look at athletics, it's huge. Football, not really, but cricket now. Even the Chinese are developing a cricket team.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, you know more than I do.
So, but they are known to do things really, really professionally. They can go to any extent to get a team in place sooner than later.
Yeah, they do. But I think, I'm not an expert on Chinese football, but I'm very conscious that I think they've only been to 1 or 2 World Cups so far. So there's still a way to go. But you're right. This is the thing about the cricket in particular. The spread of cricket and all the associate members. Afghanistan, is the great example for this, particularly for this World Cup. This is a country that didn't compete as a nation until 10 years, 8 years ago. Yeah. And it's fantastic to have Afghanistan at the World Cup.
Don't you think it's more the merrier?
Yes, but then you've got to manage the competition so that you have a meaningful World Cup. But and I can see it coming. England will be losing to, who knows, in 5-10 years. Nepal at 2020. We've already lost to Ireland. We've lost to Holland. We were quite happy to lose to other countries at cricket. As long as it would be nice to win.
Your bookmakers won't be happy to hear that from you. They will be happy to lose
in the future.
In the future,
not talking about 2019.
Okay, viewers, there is a clear-cut clarification from Bruce. Not this time. He's talking about the future. There's no harm in talking about the future. But as of now, Bruce, how much of scientific approach do you think over time, even techniques have changed? The gear, cricketing gear has absolutely changed. Yes. Things have become lighter. The things you put on your body, even the bats, cricket bats have become totally different.
The
use of technology. How much is technology responsible? People scoring huge runs. Do you think that is one of the reasons?
I'm sure that is the case. When I grew up, I think I was the first generation where we had these scoops, cricket bats, which had part of the back scooped out, and then you got the changes to the edges. The weight, there are regulations now in place to limit the weight and so on, but and there are also interesting, the technology of things like DRS to allow to support the umpires to take the right decision, so to speak. I think the cricket is exciting to watch, but it's interesting how, for example, bowlers have learnt that they've had to adapt. They've got to fool the batsman. They can't just do it with swing and seam and spin. They've got to do it with change of pace.
And now you can't fool anyone. Every movement, everything is recorded. It can be magnified umpteen times to check whether there is any foul play. So you can't just fool around on the field.
We are all armchair analysts of every single ball on the cricket in the cricket match. Absolutely. So I think that's why the joy of for me. I mean, I come from the era where Test match was the main form of cricket, and to watch somebody like Virat Kohli, as he did this last year, have a duel with Jimmy Anderson, a fantastic sporting experience, but it was played over different days and different Test matches.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't get the audience. You have to be realistic, I think. Excitement.
Absolutely.
And time.
Bruce, it was interesting talking to you. I'd only like to conclude by saying, may the best team win in true sporting spirit, and cheers to India-UK relations. Thank you very much, Bruce, for being on my show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.